So, do you want to pass the Ex200 exam, the RHCSA? Jesus Christ, what the name, the RedHat Systems Administrator. So, you come to the right place. I'm going to help you out with that. Let's do a test exam, a sample exam with all the questions that you may encounter, and I'm going to show you how to sort them. But before that, let me just show you some details about the exam itself, okay, before we jump into the things. So this is going to be a series of videos, and each video is going to be a different question/task, and I'm going, in the end, I'm going to make a full compilation of a bigger video with all the tasks. So I'm going to release this one video by task, one task by video, and in the end, when everything's compiled, I'm going to make a big video with all the exam questions and all the exercises sorted and resolved for you guys. So you can watch this in the whole big video in the end when everything's uploaded and everything it's recorded, or as a single individual video. If you want, put this at 2x speed and you can go through this even faster. But before we do that, let me give you a quick overview about what the exam is all about, okay? And then you can carry on for the first tasks. So basically, this is going to prepare you for the Ex200 exam, RedHat 9 or RedHat 10. So this is going to get you ready for both exams. If things get updated, I will update the video series too. Don't worry. So basically, this is going to make you prepare, get ready for the exam for version 9 and version 10. I highly recommend you watch my video series before you do this, which is the RH124 and RH134. I have a complete playlist about that on my channel. Go and check it out, and you can get prepared for that. Then you come here and you see my exam questions, or my preparation exam for you guys. Okay. So before we do the first question, like I said, let's check some details. Okay. So this is going to be our Ex200 practice exam for the version 9 and version 10. So they score you in the basis of 0 to 300. So the maximum is that you can get 300 points. I'm not sure how they grade this. Not every question has the same value. Okay, so you may have, each question will get graded with different value. And my last video of the series is going to be more details about how can you execute the exam, the environments, and how can you schedule it, etc. But for now, you need to have 300 points. You have 2.5 hours to do the exam, and you have the passing score. You need to have a passing score of 17% or 210 points in 300 points. So you need to have around 70%. So you don't need to have 100% to pass, but 70%, it's a quite high score and quite demanding. However, you still have some headroom to manage some questions you might find more difficult than others. Okay. Now, please take care of the following: Firewall D and SeLinux need to be enabled at all times. So don't try to resolve an issue by disabling Firewall D or SeLinux. Okay. In theory, at least, Firewall D will not show to be a problem. You can work this out really well, especially if you check out my video series and also SeLinux. So this is not going to be easy, but if you watch my video series, I assure you, you'll be ready to resolve questions about Firewall D or System D really relaxed. Okay. They don't ask you a specific way how to sort the questions, how to resolve the questions. You can use the command line, you can use the TUI, you can use the GUI, whatever the case may be. If there is any software that is not installed that you think you're going to need to have it, you can install it at all times. So they don't care how you sort the questions. They really don't. They just want for the exercises or tasks to be executed as they instruct you to. So they don't care how you get there. You can use whatever method you want. However, I highly recommend for you to use the method that offers less complication. Okay, so throughout this video series, I'm going to execute some tasks, and some tasks are going to execute the most easy way. Okay, so that will just not create so many doubts, the easiest and the fastest way, because 2.5 hours, it's really short. Okay, so if you make things faster, better for you, because you can release time to sort out questions that you might feel that are a little bit harder to you to sort out. So any type of time-saving measures and brain cell saving measures, it's a very recommendation. And I'm going to show you guys how can you do that. The tasks can be executed in any order. In any order, they don't force you they don't force you to execute in a specific order. You can do all the order you want, but some tasks actually have an order that is more logical. For example, if you need to install some packages, you need to configure the repo first. If you want to access a repo, you need to have a network up first. Okay, so even though they don't force you the order per se, some tasks actually require for you to do in the correct order, so it just works. Okay. All the names, IP addresses, host names, etc. in this practice exam may not match the real exam. So I'm just going to give you some examples in my environment, but the real exam should not go much different than this. But in this video series, it's going to be my own IP addresses, my own host names, so that it suits my environment. But in the exam should be much closer, very similar, and I'm sure you will be okay. Typically, you'll have two servers at your disposal. I'm going to call it server A and server B in my case, but it can be called anything throughout the exam. But that doesn't really matter that much, does it? So you need to mess with server A and server B. Some tasks will be on server A, some tasks will be on server B. It will be very clear on the instructions. You will have no doubt on which one needs to do what. Okay. In this case, I'm going to specify that too. So some questions are going to answer on server A, others on server B, but we'll deal with that when we get there. Okay. Sorry. So in the order to present, so basically some stuff was adapted. So that I already said that. So the names and some tasks are not exactly like in the real exam, but they are a very close approximation based on my experience and based with my student experience. So we constantly exchange notes and constantly discuss this. Okay. And also this exact sample exam, it's going to have more questions than the real exam. So we're going to cover a wider spectrum that what the real exam will require from you. So you can get the best perspective possible about the real exam. So here we're going to test much more tasks that on a real exam they will ask you. And there are no two equal exams. So John does the exam and Sylvie does the exam. Okay, they may end up answering different tasks. There is a there is a kind of core task list that everybody answers, but there are discrepancies between different people, different exams, but you get the most of it right here in this exam video series. Okay, so this is just a quick overview about what to expect throughout these videos. Again, I'm going to make one video per task and one big video in the end with all the tasks. This is what you're going to expect. So like, subscribe and comment, it really helps. And let's then carry on for task number 1. I see you there. So let's jump into the first question. So this is where we left off on the epilogue video. So this is the first question or the first task. Okay. So they are going to ask you on server A and server B to configure the network. So server A and server B are going to have the network already configured. Okay. So server A and server B are going to have the network already configured, but with the configuration that it will not work throughout the exam. Okay. So need to configure the network as they request. Again, these IP addresses, subnet masks, etc. are my own, that they are convenient to me. It doesn't mean that throughout the exam it's going to be these numbers. Okay, so it doesn't throughout the exam they're not going to use these IP addresses, or they will. Maybe there's a big coincidence and they actually match. But the host name is going to be something they specify. The IP, you get the idea. So how do I suggest you to sort this out? So they're going to ask you these configurations. For example, in my case, server A is going to be 192.168.150 with the host name server a.lab.example.com. Server B is going to be called server b.lab.example.com with the IP address 151, netmask 255.255.255. Well, you get the gist. So everything's here. So this is my suggestion for a solution. I'll jump in the console in a second. So I will use an M2 in this case. Okay, I'm going to use the nm2e. It's the simplest way. I can see the keyboard warriors, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you do whatever. So if you want to do it the hard way, do the hard way. I like to work smarter, not harder. So I will just use nm2e. And if it's not, only if it's not, it's very unlikely. But if it's not installed by default, and at this point, without configuring the network, you don't have access to the repos, very unlikely not being installed, very unlikely. But if it's not installed, then you can go through the nmcli path. It's there how to make it. Go and check my video series. I spent many minutes explaining how to use nm2e, nmcli, and nmgui. I even have a separate video series outside of the RH preparation. So I have many videos on my channel about the nmcli and nm2e. Go and check them out. But I actually suggest you guys to use the nm2e. It's most 99% possibility that it's installed. If it's not installed, then you can just go ahead and use the nm connection. So if you use nmcli, you'll modify the connection to the one they want you to. And don't worry if you make any mistakes. I'm going to use SSH in my case, but in your case, you will have direct console access to the server, so you don't actually need SSH per se. If you run into issues, if you have any problems, you actually can resort to the physical console in order to get that thing sorted. Okay, so if you jump into the terminal, okay, so I have here my server A. I'm going to get myself some root access. So don't worry about too much about the passwords. All the passwords you need, they will give you. Okay, and if you don't know the root password of a specific server, there is a task down the line. I will not go through it right now, but I believe they're going to give you the root password for server A. They will not for server B, because on server B they actually require you to do the password recovery process. Okay, that's all good, all fine. So in order to solve this, I'm going to use nm2e. In my case, I am not going to change the configuration because I want to keep it. That's the one that's convenient for me. But in your case, you will just do nm2e. You just edit the connection. It will have a profile. It doesn't have to be the exact as mine. Use the one they have there. Most likely it's going to be called ETH0. You add it. If it's HTTP, put it to manual. If it's manual with the wrong IP, you just fix the IP address, subnet mask, DNS servers, and all of that good stuff. You just go down there. IPv6, it's not required at this point. You click OK. You click back. You go here. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to lose connection. I don't want to do that. But you just, with the tab key, navigate here, deactivate, activate, and we are good to go. Okay? So basically, you have your problem fixed. If you want to do the hard way, or not the hard way, but the nmcli tool, just do an nmcli connection show. Okay, you will see what profile is there. So leave LO alone. You don't touch an LO. Look back. So an nmcli connection modify. You specify the profile name, and from there on, you just do the IPv4.address. You put in the IP address they want. I'm not going to press enter at the end because I want to keep the configuration I have right now. /24 IPv4 gateway, and use the tab key. It should work and it should be okay. 192.168.1.1 and IPv4 DNS 192.168. In my case, I forget, it's a 100. I would hit enter. You hit. I'm going to put this as a comment here. You do this, hit enter. I'm adding it as a comment. Don't put the comment in the beginning in the exam. You need to execute this. I'm going to use the comments just to make my life easier here. Then you just do an MCLI, connection reload, and the profile name. Connection reload ENS160. And everything should be okay. You just confirm like this, or confirm like this, or confirm like this, and you check the configurations. On server A, do this on server A and do this on server B. If you want to be sure, reboot the server. all the answers, all the exam questions need to be permanent, which means that when I do an exam, make sure that everything survives a reboot, and you should be good to go. Just make sure everything survives a reboot, either being network configuration, partition management, disk management, whatever the case, wherever the task you are executing, make sure it survives a reboot. Okay. Then ping something, for example, let's say nfs.lab, or example in my case .com. In your case, configure server A and server B and ping both. And everything is just working fine. And we have completed our first task. Congratulations. You will have a few points on our exam, so can carry on with confidence. Okay. So we have sorted the network thingies. So let's go to the next one. So configured repositories are available at the repo server at blah, 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 blah. So the repo server is going to be, which the configure server you are going to use, it will depends on the exam. But this information they will give you. In my case, this is going to be my own local repos. But that's fine. That doesn't matter. The URLs, they're going to give you the URLs. That's fine. You just need to configure the repos and make them work. Okay, so let's just go there. Cool. Now, just make sure I need to do this on server A and server B. At this point, you should have. It depends on the exam itself. So at this point, no, I'm not sure if you have access to server B already. Maybe they will give you access to server B to a question down the line. So maybe you don't have access to server B just yet. Okay. So you need to just skim the order of the exam and check when server B comes into play. But when you reach server B, you most likely need to also configure the repos. So bear this in mind. So when you reach the time where you're going to interact with server B, you will actually need the repos configured on server B. So if you get to server B and you need some packages that you're not able to retrieve, and the network is okay, that's because you did not do the repo thing on server B too. So just relax. If you reach server B and you need packages, it's just because it's either a problem on the network, just review it. If the network is fine, then just configure access to your repos, because I'm going to do on both right now, but throughout the exam, you might need to do it on different periods of the exam. First server A, then down the line, server B. Okay? Just breathe. Okay? So let's make sure it's not working. They're not working. So the DNF search, for example, HTTPD, anything will do. No matches found, DNF, repo list, and no repos available. That's fine. So just navigate to etc repos.t. Most likely on your exam, the folder is going to be empty. Okay? It's fine. Just breathe. It's normal during the exam. Just build a new file called something.repo, exam.repo, for example. And now just build your stanzas. Go and check my videos about this topic. I have multiple videos about repositories. Go and check them out. Base URL equals will I have the possibility to copy paste? Maybe I can't, but let me try. Nope, no possibility to copy paste. Or am I using the wrong tool here? Nope, copy paste not possible. That's fine. Oh yeah, it is possible. I am just not thinking with the full brain at this point. So I'm saving so much time to copy paste. Maybe I just don't save that much time. It's fine. Okay, enable it equals 1, GPG check equals 0. So this is our base OS. Cool. But if you remember correctly, on the questions they want the base OS and they want the app stream, which is fine. So just you could build exam1.repo file and exam2.repo file. You can have two repo files, one for base OS, the other for app stream. But I really advise you to put on the same. But whatever the case, whatever works for you. Okay, they just don't give a shit. app stream. If it works, it works. Okay, name. I'm going to put that in lowercase, not because it's going to make any harm, but it's just my own need. Upstream, obsession base URL. Okay, let me just copy from here. Oh, I miscopied the first one. I almost did a typo. Okay, so this is not app stream. This is base OS. And I'm missing the equal sign here. Enable it. Equals 1. TPG check equals 0. All right. Cool. Looks fine. Looks fine. Write and quit. Now can do a DNF repo list. Use whatever order you prefer. Okay. I'm doing like this, but whatever. Okay. Now you can just do, I don't know, DNF search. HTTPD. It's skimming the repos. It's looking good. And there we have it. I'm going to do the install, but I'm going to say no. Just to have some peace of mind. Looks fine so far. And I said yes because I'm stupid. It's okay. I could delete it, but I'm going to leave it as it is. Just don't install it if they don't request you to, but if you do, it's no harm done either. So I said yes, I wanted to say no. It's just muscle memory, it's fine. So let's just get this exam.repo here and let's add it to server B right now. Again, throughout the exam, we will, maybe the order will be not exactly this one, repos wise. Maybe you need to add the repo later when you troubleshoot the server's B password. But at this point, I'm going to do it now just to save some brain cells later. Fine. Okay. So here I have more files than I actually need. So let me delete the default ones here because they will not be present during the exam. You should just have your own. Just this one. So DNF clean all and repo list. Perfect. So just don't forget that server B may just come into play later on. And you may need to add the repos at server B later in a later phase, not right now. So I have installed HTTPD. I didn't want it to do that. It's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. These machines are going to be reset after I film all these videos, so we are good to go. So where is my camera? There. Cool. So this was question what? Question 2, adding repositories to our exam servers. So this question number 3, it's all about SeLinux and Firewall, especially SeLinux. What am I about to do? I'm just going to set things up so that you guys can see what the issue is and how to resolve it. They will have in exam all the stuff already kind of on the go, ready to go on the go, but I'm going to install the software they will install, and I'm going to act like they would, so you can see the issue occurring, and you will understand better the solution. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go to the console here. So I'm going to set enforce permissive. Don't do this on the exam. Okay, you need to fix stuff and not disable stuff. Systemctl stop firewall D. Okay, you need to fix stuff, not disable stuff. All the things need to work with SeLinux up and Firewall up too. Okay, so don't disable stuff just to make things work. I'm going to do this just to show you the issue occurring so you better understand the fix. You can go back to my video series and I'll talk much more about all SeLinux throughout that video series. So let's go to var www.html, and I'm going to do echo Ex200 exam, for example, to the index.html file. Okay, so this is just a bog standard thing to do. A bog standard thing to do, just to make sure that everything works. Okay, maybe my server will not started, and there you have it. So it's working, okay, with the IP we configured in the first tasks, and it's working fine. Okay, so no big of a deal here. Now I'm going to kind of force the issue here, and the main issue here is we're going to use port 82 and not port 80 like the default thing is, whatever the case. Now I need to put my server to be listening at port 82. I have some notes here. You can create a virtual server, or just reconfigure the default website, make things a little bit faster. I'm going to change the default website. I need to add that note here, which is fine. You can just change the default website listening. I didn't put here, but I will add it later. It's fine. So let's do that. So let's go etc. Or did I? No. httpd conf.d httpd.conf httpd.conf. We find for listen. I don't remember the case here. There it is. Oh, it was there. I just pressed escape like a stupid person. But there we go. And you want port 82, okay? Watch and quit. Restart the service. Yeah, you can't restart it. It's a little bit brutal, but it just works in the exam. It's fine. It has restarted, which means that this probably is not working anymore. But if you add port 82, it's working. Okay, so port 82 confirmed. It's working great. Right. Now let's re-enable set enforcing, and the site still works because the server was reloaded with SeLinux down. If you systems material, we start httpd. This should now fail, and the web server is not working. Okay, so confirmed that the issue is occurring. So the main goal here is to fix the issue, and disabling SeLinux does not fix the issue. I mean, well, it fixes it, but that's not how they want it. So we need to first get some tools going. You can get you don't really need the policy core utils. You can install them if you want. You just need to install the policy core utils if SA manage is not available. Okay, so let's see. SA manage. Yeah, in my case it's installed, but if you want to be sure, it doesn't hurt to add more software. It doesn't hurt to add more software. It hurts to have less software. Okay. Portanto, so it hurts. Portanto, so it hurts to have less software. It doesn't hurt to have extra software. They don't really give a shit. So DNF install +y policy. What the name? Core utils. Policy core utils. I forgot the thingamajiggy. So I just did a cut here, so guys don't have to endure all the time for this to install. So it's all the tools are installed. It's been a long day. Okay, so we still things are still not working. Okay, because we have not fixed the issue yet. So all we have to do now, like it was easy. All we have to do now is to create an exception on the SMN on SeLinux, so that port 82 is actually acceptable. It's basically this. You just need to do this on the SeLinux and that on a firewall, and we should be perfectly okay with that, with everything. Sorry, and sorry about the blip. And then we can go here. I'm getting contact for work, which is nice. Okay, let's do this. So SMNH port -A -T HTTPD port T TCP 82. What I mistype something? SMNH port -A -T SMNH port -A -T HTTPD port T -P TCP 82. Okay. Type DB port is invalid. Must be a port type. So again, I mistyped something either on the console or my notes. SMNH. I did it all by head. So SMNH port -A -T HTTPD port T -P TCP 82. The port is invalid. Must be a port type. HTTPD port T. Port T. Okay, that's fine. Just do this. Let's just do SMNH port -L grep HTTPD. Yeah, I put the D there. I do this mistake every single time. It's not HTTPD, it's HTTP. Since I'm already here with my hands, let me edit the master file. And it's HTTP, not HTTPD. HTTP, not HTTPD. And it's not plural, it's port. You guys cannot imagine the amount of times I proofread this and I didn't catch that. So as you can see, in and out, man SMNH minus port. You go back there to the and you have a lot of examples, okay? And the example here, it's actually regarding Apache, the web server, okay? So there I have it. You just go to the you just go to the man page and you can actually copy paste the solution. How cool is that? So I have fixed my doc file. I need to re-export. I need to re-export my PDF. And I made a second typo here because I'm stupid. So this is wrong. This is not well typed. This is wrong. Okay, you get the idea. Cool. Now this should not work yet. Okay, because I haven't restarted the service yet. But let's re-enable the firewall. Okay, it's re-enabled and systemctl restart HTTPD. Now the service started successfully because we have made the exception, but this is not going to work because the firewall is not there yet. So let's add the firewall exception. Firewall cmd -add port 82/TCP. Minus permanent systemctl firewall cmd -reload, and immediately it started to work. All right, so the main thing here, it's not the installation. I went to the long way just to show you the problem so you can better understand the solution. But the solution was as simple as do the SMNH to create the exception for the port you specify. In this case, I specified port 82, but it can be another one, but 82 is very common. Then you just create the exception on the firewall and you should be good to go. if you have any doubts here, because yes, it's a very long command, I understand that. Go to the main page, scroll down to the example sections, and you should have there a good example specifically tailored for HTTP. Let's go. So this is question 4 or task 4, which is create the following users groups and add users to the groups, blah, 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 blah. You kind of know what this is going to. Okay, this is all on server A, unless something or someone tells you differently. You should do, most likely all these first tasks are going to be on server A. We should switch to server B when you troubleshoot the root's password on server B, and all the rest of the tasks should be on server B. Okay, but don't worry, they are very clear telling you on which server to do what. No, there will be no doubts about that. Okay, so I'm going to then check the instructions, create the following users, groups, and users, and blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. Okay, so they want to create a group called admin. Okay, so group add admin, that's fine. The user Harry, that belongs to the admin group. User Natasha, who belongs to these are actually names from the real exam. I remember them. Also, my students do also. So they are just real names. So you can do whatever way you prefer. You can create a user and add it to the group later. Whatever. I'm going to do the easy way. User adds -G. My keyword is not load keys. PT. Okay, user adds -G. Why is still on the wrong? Is my physical PC with the wrong keyboard layout? Yes, it is. Okay, -G. Admin Harry. So this is going to create Harry, and he's going to belong to the admin group. And Natasha will also be okay. Natasha. This doesn't have to be 100% equal to the exam. You just need to get the mechanics down. Okay, cool. They have here Sarah does not have access to the interactive shell, so basically it's them saying basically it's them saying that we need to Natasha cannot log in interactively, which means they should have the ASP.NET no login shell. You can create the user first and change the properties after. So let's go user add. It doesn't really matter how you do it. It just needs to, in the end, just needs to be as they want. How to get there? They don't give a shit, Sarah. User add. Oh, no login. Oh, see, already exists. That's fine. You just edit the passwd file, find Sarah, and you just fix it. So no big of a deal. It's fine. No login. It's fine. All right. All users must have the password. On the exam, they're probably going to ask a different password, but whatever. So passwd, use whatever process you like, okay? Don't smash the keyboard saying I would do this. It's fine. Whatever, man. Whatever. There are faster ways. Yes. Do I care? No. Do I know the other ways? Yes. Do I care? No. I don't care, man. It's done. It works. Everybody has a correct password, so chill. Cool. If just in case, ID Harry, ID Sarah, Natasha. Everything's working fine with the correct passwords. You can, if you really want to be anal, and you just check the files. Okay. So basically, that's what you did. Create the following users, and the passwords are there. Everybody belongs, Harry belongs to the admin group, Natasha belongs to the admin group. Sarah doesn't have the no login, has a no login shell, which means it doesn't have interactive access. Everybody has the correct passwords, and we are done. So question 5 or task 5 is create a directory for collaboration named common admin and configure it as follows. So this is, I just made up. I don't really remember the same thing. And this is actually accurate. So the group owner of the directory is a group admin. The directory should be readable, writable, and accessible to the members of admin, and no other. Root is root. So you know that root is root, so leave root out of this, okay? New files created must belong to the admin group. Okay, the group owner must be at the admin group that you just created on previous task. The directory should be readable, writable, and accessible to the members of the admin, and no others. Root is root. New files created must belong to the admin group. So this is group ID, right? And all the rest is pretty obvious. So this is a very close approximation of what the exam will be. I hope this preps you and you have success on your certification career. Cool. Let's start by creating the directory mkdir -p and what I call it, common admin. Cool. Now let's give it to the admin group. Change group admin common admin. That's done. And the directory should be readable, writable, and accessible to the members of the admin group and no others. Root is root. Cool. So chmod 770, for example. This will just fulfill the needs they want. Common admin. And chmod g+s/common admin. Cool. So ls -l. Okay, there we go. It's perfectly fine. And the common, it's also great. Load the common. There is it. There it is. There it is. Okay, so let's go there. It's empty, so let's touch Ex200 exam. ls-l, and there we go. So the admin group, it's the actual owner, like they do. Nil files created on the admin group. And everything is just as they expect it to be. That one either. This one here. Let's go. So here we have to, on question 6 or task 6, we're going to deal with AutoFS. Okay, so AutoFS it's our auto mounter. Again, I'm not going to teach you at this point what AutoFS is. I'm just going to show how to resolve the question. But if you want to check my playlist, the 1 through 4 and 1 to 4, you can check it out, and I explained everything there. So let's use the AutoFS to auto mount a file system, and this is going. They ask you to basically mount 2 folders on the same NFS server, the public and the private folder. Public needs to be read only and the private read write role, or it can be the other way around. It doesn't really matter at this point. So one is going to be read only, though the other one read write, but it will depend on the situation. You just read the question and do accordingly. And they need to be they get mounted with a 30-second timeout. Okay, I remember clearly when I did my exam for the 5th time to forget to add the 30 seconds timeout thingy-majiggy. I had full marks, but don't be me. At the perimeter, it takes you 2 seconds, so there is no actual excuse for not to do it. Okay, I say here this is a wild card, meaning not everybody gets it, which means that this is not going to show to everyone. So some people get this question, some people don't, but might as well get prepared for it to pop. So let's go to server A. Let's get some root access. Okay. So the easy way to go around is you can just install the minimal packages for things to work, or you can just go full bore and just use what you need. So in full bore and installed all the NFS stuff and installed all the AutoFS stuff, It's a little bit overkill, but just might as well do it. So install all the NFS stuff, install the AutoFS stuff, and you have all the client tools and all the server tools, whatever. It's a little bit on overkill maybe, but it's not that bad. You just use what you need, and in the exam they just don't care. Okay, you just need to make things work accordingly. Now this is how I do it. So I just create a directory called automount /private. I mean, I don't want to do this directory. It's on instructions, right? So just follow the instructions. Public. Okay, and this is the first part. If you remember correctly, in the questions they actually explicitly said that. Okay, so it needs to be mounted on the automount directory. So it's here. Okay, so it's going to be automount private, automount public, and it should be okay. So they tell you everything in the instructions. Just follow along. Okay, then you just go to the VIM etc. What is called auto.master. Yeah. Auto.master, this is writing the AutoFS. Again, go check my videos about that. You can put this in anywhere, okay? So let's add something like, I don't know, let's put like this, okay? Sure, so it works. Automount, and it's going to have a file called auto.automount. So the way we configure this, it's a little bit archaic, a little bit old school, but it just works. It's fine. Don't forget the minus timeout equals 30. Okay, so for the 30 second thing they ask, and let me think a bit. Yeah, this is pretty enough. You can just drop everything else on the file. Cool. Now you just edit the etc auto.automount. You just not created, but we just specified automount. Yep. And then you just add the two folders. So public was read only, right? You can add the sync. Then you just specify the server nfs.lab.example.com. Column public, and you just copy paste for a little bit easier, and just paste this, and private. Okay, read only, I mean read write in this case, and this is the private. So I just noticed a typo here. If you are following along on my PDF, I say public and it's not public. So let me fix the master file here before I forget. And it's public private, okay. And also DNF install. Oops. DNF install AutoFS. Cool. So I have I'm just fixing my master file here, and it looks pretty cool. I just need to fix something here. Column. Let's pull this up a little bit. And we're good. Okay, my master file is fixed. Let's carry on. We save and quit. All good. Now, in order to make things work, if you want to make sure that that specific NFS server is working, you can do show mount -e nfs.lab.example.com. You should see the private and public shares. They are there. Perfect. So this is what you get from the nf install nfs asterisk, okay, star, and you get this tool. So might as well use it. You don't have control. You don't have control over the NFS server itself. You can check the shares, but you don't have control over the server itself. Okay. Now on the client side, ctl --. Now enable AutoFS. So it started and enabled, so it looks to be okay. And I believe we are, well, ready to test. So let's do cd auto mount. cd private. There we go. cd public. There we go. The folders are empty, so I don't I can remember if they had something there during the exam. Probably they will. But it's mounted, it's perfectly fine, it's working, and it's perfectly done. So our task is it's done. Everybody can use the auto mount to mount the private and public folders, and that's task 6 done. Cool. So question 7, not this one, that one. So question 7 is about cron, and they want us to use user Harry to create a Ex200 message at midday or something along these lines. So it's something similar to this. Okay. And the second part is Natasha cannot use Crontab. Okay. Sure. Let's do this. So let's get some Harry access. Perfect. I am Harry now. Now just do Crontab -E. And let's add the 30 minutes, midday, star, oops, and star, /bin, /echo, hello. That's all we need here to Harry. Fine. So let's review the question. It seems too easy to be true, right? I understand you. So you just go to Harry, and they just I did hello, but I said here Ex200. I mean, I can fix the master file, and that's the Ex200. That's fine. If you want to be picky, you can just make things accordingly. Ex200, and we're done. You didn't see that, but I just edited my Crontab so it has Ex200 and not hello, just to make things cleaner. It will matter nothing. It just matches my file. That's that. Next, you want to deny Natasha the use of Crontab. Fine. So just go back to root. Go to the cron.deny file. You add Natasha, and we are done. See? So Harry has scheduled a task for midday with some message. They may ask you something different from the echo, but it should be something similar to the echo. So no big of a deal. Second part, you just deny Natasha the Crontab. So just go to the cron deny, add Natasha's name, and she's denied. This one is a doozy. This one is a long one, okay? Which takes some time, but it's not. I'm not going to say it's easy because nothing in life is easy, but it's doable, okay? So it's just long, and you need some patience to do that. So let's just check the instructions. This is basically requesting you to use ACLs. It's long and boring, but doable, okay? So copy the file to there, and this is a set of instructions to do one by one on that file. So let's do one step at a time. So let's copy this file there and make sure that the root is the owner. This is the easy part. Okay, so let's copy cp etc fs tab /var_temp. Now we go to there. Let's confirm the file is here. Yeah, ls -la fs tab. I need to go to temp. ls -la fs tab. So let's go back here. So yeah, the root is the owner, should be, and this is done because this is the default. This only goes wrong if something goes wrong. So everything's fine. File is not executable by no one. The file is not executable by no one. I mean, do I have to do anything? I don't think I can. So it's not executable by no one. So let's go back to this one to make sure that at the end, nobody can execute. I put here a note to come and check. So it is as it is. Harry can read and write the file. Okay, fine. So let's go and do the set FSAL modify user Harry. What did I say? Can read and write. Okay, read and write the FS tab file. So that's basically it. Next one is Natasha can do nothing. Well, he cannot read and write, and she could not execute by this directive, so she can do nothing. Fine. Set FSAL modify user Natasha. And if you want to specify nothing, you just add --. So she can do nothing because nobody can execute. She cannot read and write, so he has no permissions whatsoever. So let's just say this is done. This is done. Everybody else, users that exist and ownable, can read the file. So I think that's basically done, because if you do get FSAL, it's exactly that. Everyone else that exists can read the file. So everybody can read the file because the others can read the file. So that's basically it, right? I mean, I'm seeing this and I feel it's too easy maybe, but it's all done. So let's check again. Root it's done. Yeah, correct. The user and group it's done. Root belongs to root, is not executable by no one. Yeah, nobody has execute. Nobody has execute. So that's fine. Harry can read and write the file. Yep, Harry can write the file. And Natasha cannot do nothing. Natasha cannot do nothing. And everybody else can read now and in the future. Yep, it looks to be okay. Following. So next they ask all about NTP. Okay, configure the system to be the client of NTP, and well, basically you need to make sure that your server is client of a specific NTP server. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use another one, but might as well. It's the same thing. It doesn't really matter. So let's go to this one here. So let's start installing by DNF install the cronny stuff. This should take no long. It's already installed. Perfect. Next, you go to the etc cronny.conf file. You have here this one here. I will comment this one out on the exam. If you have others, you can just comment everybody else out. So do the server. I'm not going to put the one on the instructions. I'm going to put a different one because it's more convenient for me, but you can do whatever. Well, on the exam, not whatever. Just specify the ones they add there and iBurst. Cool. This should be enough for this purpose. So just do the server itself, iBurst. They give you the server name or IP address during the exam, so it's fine. Everything else, you don't need to touch anything else. You are good to go. So then you go do systemctl, restart cronny d, and you should be okay. So just go to cronny.conf, you add this one. Let's just review this really quick. Yeah, looks to be okay. iBurst, fine. You restart systemctl, restart cronny d.service, looking good. And then you check with cronny c sources. You see our server there. We are synchronizing with the NTP server like they mentioned, and we should be okay. So that was question 9, configuring an NTP client to connect to an NTP server. Just a note, okay, just before you go, just a note. Sometimes I type instead of cronny c, I type cronny d. It's just kind of muscle memory of mine. If you see this, don't worry, you just mistype the command. It's not cronny d, it's cronny c. Okay, that much so that in my notebook on my PDF I have cronny d. I have fixed the master file already, so I don't make this mistake again. Okay? Oh my god. Okay, I fixed my file, so I don't have to make that mistake again. So once again, it's cron C, not cron D. If you type cron D and you see that error, it's cron C. I make that mistake many times too. Question is, it's about find and copy files. Okay, it's all about finding and copying files, and they say something around these lines: find all files greater than 4 megabytes on the etc directory and copy them to some folder. Okay, so I have here things already ready. So don't forget to do mkdir that folder. I already done that to make just, but I can do it again. mkdir -p find large files. It's already there. Okay, but it's all good. And you just type this. Okay, I'm going to remove the comment. I already pre-typed it to make sure I have no typos, just so you don't see me here hunting for errors. But find, where to find, type is file, size is bigger than 4 megabytes, and they execute the command. The command is copy what is found to this folder. Okay, be careful while doing this, because you need to add this. You need to have the spaces and all of that. So this is kind of a pain if you mistype something and you need to find the problem. Most likely the order is not how Find like you to have. So make the type F and size before the exec. Okay, especially type F and the size at this order. Then you just copy the file to there. It's not hard. It's just very sensitive to the order and all of that. So it's not hard. It's just you need to see the specific order of the parameters on this order, or else it just throws a fit. It's not hard. Just focus. If you see an error, just try again. So type F for file size megabytes exec. This is a space there. This is a space here. This is a space here, and you should be good to go. Just breathe. I'm sure you'll do fine. Let's see. Create a new user with user ID 6969 giggity. Of course, they are not going to the exam saying 6969 or giggity. That's just my own take. Okay. So, and the user is called Billy. Fine. So it's just user add -u 6969 Billy. Give it a password of password like they ask you. Password Billy. Password. And you just need to cat etc password grab for Billy. And there you go. Billy has been created with the ID 6969. Good on you. So the question is, create an archive, backup and compress the RTM folder to this file. Main takeaway, it's the GZ. GZ means that you use the /z or -z or -z to get the Z compressed file. Okay, let's do this. I have this already ready. So just do tar, okay? Z is for the GZ. Check the main page if you need to create a different compressed file, like capital J. But check the main page, everything's there. C is create, V is for verbosity, F is to specify the file name and what to compress. Just do this and looks okay. So now we just check the file is there, okay? If you want to test, it's a tar test file, am I right? Yep. And this is the contents of the file. If you want to make sure, you can just do this. And yeah, everything's there. FS tab is there, the folders are there, and their contents. There we go. The file is created and it's ready to go and ready to be sent for grading. Let's check the next one. Check next one is it's question 13 about permissions. Basically, it's about the umask. Okay. So they say something like this: new files created by Natasha have this permission as default. New dirs by Natasha have this by default. So in order to get all the juice out about the umask stuff, go and check my playlists, my 124 and 134, okay? Because I have there a video all about file permissions and the umask. It's detailed there. So I'm not going to detail all the umask stuff. I'm going directly to the point, okay? And show you how it's done. So this is what we want. New files are like this. New directories need to show like this. So new files, and this needs to be a permanent change. So don't forget that all the changes need to be permanent. So basically, you just log in as Natasha. There are other ways to do this, but I like to log in as a user. Okay. You will just edit the .bash profile file and just add something like you can add the comments to just for cosmetics, umask stuff. Not needed, but it looks nice. And umask 0277 should be good enough. So umask, let's see the umask right it is right now 0022. Okay, you log off, we log on. Now we have a new umask node specified, and this umask will just have that expected result, which was or is new files get these permissions, new directories get these permissions. Okay, so if you want more details about all details about the umask, go and check my playlists, and I talk about the umask to death over there. So go and check it out. But this will just make things work for the time being. Next question, which is the password for new users in server.levdat.com must expire after 20 days. So for new users, okay. So let's check it out. So let's go to the root user. Whoopsie. Let's go to the root user. Nice. Let's go to the etc login.deps file. Again, check my playlist. I talk about this a lot. And you can just find if the perimeter is there. Yep, it's there. So let's just find that thing out there. You can just change. I like to create a copy, back it up, and pass max days. Now it's 20. And we save and quit. Okay, let's check a current user, Natasha, for example. Okay, that's what you get, 9999. And let's continue user adds test, L test, and 20 days, as you can see. Okay. So you can leave the, if you, for example, if you create a test user like this one, you can just leave it there. They won't care about that way to just any not that much. Next question, which is 15. So 15 questions. 15 is about the admin group can use sudo without password. Okay, the admin group can use sudo without password. Okay, so let's get that done. So you can use vi sudo or whatever, or edit the file directory. I'm going to edit the file directory because I'm like that. Okay, so go somewhere here. We should be able to use something similar. Let me see. Yeah, we can just use this one as a reference. It's a comment, but it's good enough for us. So it's read on the file. I know. Leave me alone. So the admin group can use all. And that's pretty much it. Now this will allow the admin users group to use all commands without a password. Save and quit. You're done. Check it out. So create a bash script for something like this. I don't remember all the details, of course. It's something like this. Create a script called gofind that find files on the USR shared directory that are smaller than 1 megabyte and put them on the root find directory. Okay, so let's create a directory mkdir /p root find and create the script. I have the scripts already created, so you save some time here. So just put the shebang there. It's not mandatory, but I like to put it. And you just need to do something like this. Finds on the shared directory, type file, smaller than 1 megabyte, and copy to the root find directory. Okay? Then we set the permissions, and we execute the file, the script. Okay? Now you should have on the file directory all the results. Okay, let me show you the file, the script again. There we go. Get out. So the next one is 17, which is to reset the root password on server B. So we don't know the password on server B. We just need to reset the passwords to some password they want us to use. I will use a password RedHat just to simplify, but just specify the password they ask you to specify. Okay. So I have many videos on my channel about resetting the root password on RedHat. Many videos. I will not discuss in detail how it's done because I have many videos there, but I will just show you how it's done really quickly without details. If you want details, just go check those videos. So first of all, you restart your machine, the machine in question, okay? And you break for the grub. And I was a little bit too hasty. Okay. Oh, damn it, I was already there. And you need to stop at the grub. It depends. God damn it. I'm being too hasty. There we go. And I pressed the wrong key. I pressed the enter key because I'm stupid. Okay. So you get here, and on the exam you have tools like reset, reboot, everything like a normal virtualization server. So you will be able to have all the power off, power on, reset, restart. So you are good to go. So you break here, you just press the E key. You add at the end of this line, the rd dot break, and you press Ctrl X to boot. And then you just wait. I will not make any cuts here, so you guys just see everything. So we drop on a switch root. Next, you do the mount -o remount /rw sysroot chroot /sysroot. Since we are already root, you just do passwd, set the new password, and just don't forget to do the touch auto relabel, or else the server will not boot. Exit, you wait, and this part on the exam is quite stressful because usually the exam machines, they're not very powerful, so they can be a little bit slow at moments. These mines are not especially quick, but they are quicker than the exam situation there. You just need to wait, be patient. In the exam, it's possible that at this point you will see a black screen and not some text like you are seeing here. Okay, so you may see some black screen occurring. So just need to be patient and just wait for things to occur. So my machine is not the slowest, but it's not the fastest, and it will take a little bit. It's progressing. It's rebooting, and you should be able then to see the machine booting as normal, and you will just be able to log into your server like normal. Okay, I'm not giving you any cuts, just so you guys to see a situation that can occur. Just be patient, guys, okay? If you're in the exam, sometimes the machines are even slower than mine. And mine is not that slow, but it takes a while. Now we're back at the login stage. We can just test really quick. And we have control over server A. Now the next questions on the next tasks are going to be regarding server A. So let's check the next question or task, call it whatever you want to call it. So on server B, create a 512 megabyte swap partition. Okay, That's all they ask. That's all they want, which is fine. Okay. So let me see what disks I have. I have managed I end up configuring SDs. Okay. So once again, I have many videos about partitioning and swap files, swap partitions, etc. in my channel. Go check it out for all the details. But for now, let's do a swap partition here for the exam's sake. So let's, for example, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Let's use SDA for this. I mean, why not? So let's go to SDA. And of course, I mistyped the password because I'm a dum-dum. There we go. Cool. So let's do this again. So let's use SDA. I mean, why not? So fdisk /dev SDA. So before we continue, probably during the exam you will have a disk like this one, which is the boot disk where the root file system is and all of that already is. I highly advise you not using the system disk for doing this kind of stuff. You're going to have questions about swap partitions, LVMs, and other stuff. So to avoid using the system disk for that, if you can. I'm sure they will give you extra disks. I'm not sure how many disks, but you'll have extra disks and use those. Don't use the system disk, so because we are only human, errors can happen. It's very unlikely you do a very damaging or crippling mistake, but it can happen. So avoid that. So I'm going to use SDA. You will have extra disks during the exam too, so don't worry. So here we have it. So I'm going to create a partition. It's going to be a primary partition. So new partition, primary partition. It can be number 1. It's fine. You can start here, and you want a 512 meg. Here we go. Here it is. Print, and it's there. Fine. Now you change the type for swap, which is 82, and we print. There we go. We write. Here we go. Everything's okay. So if you get this message, everything you are good. You're cool. If you get cannot synchronize blah blah blah, just you can use part probe, but I would advise you to reboot just to make sure. Simple. Okay, so LSBLK. We have SDA1 there. Cool. So mkdir. I'm sorry. mkswap. So /SDA1. Okay, cool. Now you just add this to the FS tab. So you can add the dev SDA, or you can add the UUID. Take your pick. It's the same shit. I will add the UUID just to be fancy, or you can add just the dev set the /dev SDA. It's the same shit. So etc FS tab. I'll add the UUID just to look fancy. Okay, I'm going to add a new section here. You don't have to edit the comment. This is just me being me. They will just don't care. But if you have time, it looks nice. So we already have a swap partition there. Okay, so you can just follow along or just do swap defaults 00. Swap on. Activate status. It's there. So our SDA is added. Okay. It's on the FS tab, which means that it's going to be loaded permanently at every reboot. So if this works, the sequential reboots also work. However, I advise you, not highly, but I do advise you to, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the exam, just do a quick reboot to make sure that the reboot survives on server A and server B, because the first things they do before grading our exam is reboot both servers. So reboot it yourself. If the reboot goes fine, then you should be fine also on the long run. Let's go. So question 19 is about, or task 19, call it, well, what you want. Create logical volume named database. Logical volume named database. I also have many views about logical volumes. Go and check it out. Create a logical volume called database. It should be on the data store volume group. 50 extent size, formatted with ex3, Data store must have an extent size of 8 megabytes. Okay. So the data store, which is the volume group, needs a 50 extent size, and the extent size needs to be 8 megabytes. Okay, which means we will make the math in a few seconds. Mount persistently on the MNT database mount point. So the math is, if you do 50 times 8, you get 400 megabytes. So in theory, a 400 megabyte partition should be good enough, but then you are just cutting things very short. Let's give us some headroom and some breathing room and make it bigger. I'm going to suggest 2 gigabytes, which is fine to house a 400 megabytes thingy-majiggy. But since we don't really know exactly, because I have not shown you yet what comes next, maybe we need some space added or later. So let's just create something with a little bit of headroom, and I'll suggest 2 gigabytes. So let's use STB for this. So fdisk/dev STB. This should be empty at this point, which it is. Okay. So let me think a little bit. Sure, let's do new partition, primary partition number 1. I can start here, plus 2 gig, print. There it is. We just changed the type to 8E, which is LVM. We print. It's there. We save. Cool. So the partition exists. With 2 gigabytes, it's more than we actually need for this, but give it some headroom. So it says it's STB1. So now we will create, we do pv create /dev STB1. So I highly advise you to check all the questions about partitioning, so you can see how can you manage the available space throughout all the questions. So it's okay, I'm going to need 4 partitions. How many disks do I have? So plan ahead before you actually dive into executing the questions, because you might have to undo stuff to find space for other stuff. So check the questions. Here I'm going to share with you all the possible questions about partitioning that we may encounter. But scan the exam, especially after you do the password recovery in server B, and you see all the questions about partitioning and see what SO can actually manage. pv create new device /dev STB1. Cool. I must have mistyped something in the previous command. I don't. SBD. Okay, I type SBD, not STB. Nice, cool. So I do a PVS. Oh, I'm sorry. I do a PVS, and it's showing me this was already there. Ignore it. This is the one we just created, so we have 2 gigabytes to play with. Cool. Now let's create a volume group. VG create. And it's going to be, what was the extent size? I forget. 8. Okay, cool. So small s, it's extent size. 8M is 8 megabytes. It's going to be called data store. And it's going to be on dev STB2. Again, I made the same mistake. STB2. Oh, STB1. It's the B disk. Never mind. Because it's, why did I type 2? I don't know. I have problems maybe. So yeah, it's STB1. I have created. So let's check with VGS. Yeah, VGS does not give me details about the extent size. So let's do VG scan. Also no, and VG display. So this is just me showing you all the three possibilities: VGS, VG scan, VG display. And the display is going to show you the extent size. So this is the one who created, and extent size is 8 megabytes. So perfect. That's exactly what you want. And I want to create the logical volume with 50 extents. Cool. So let's do LV create. Lower L, it's exactly that. Extents, capital L, it's megabytes, gigabytes, and that stuff. Database. On data store. So basically, I'm using 50 extents of the data store volume group to create the database logical volume. So LVS C 400 megabytes. So my initial math actually it actually confirms. You only need 400 megabytes, which is 50 times 8. So we have some headroom here, but it's fine. We may need it later. So what they want to mount this on the MNT database. Cool. So mkdir MNT MNT database. And we can go directly to alias BLK. We can go directly to the FS tab. So we can use the UID. You can use the device name. It's your call there. So I mean, I prefer like this. I do LVS or LVScan. And I just use this so I can, it's a little bit clearer to my brain, but you can use the UID if you prefer, it's fine. etc FS tab, LVM, partitions. You don't have to do this, okay? This is just me being me. Partitions. Okay, ciao. Oh, I did not format it yet. I need to format the disk first. So let's format before we finish this. So mkfs. .ex3x3. Okay, it's done. So if I do BLK ID, you'll see it. It's there. Fine. We can carry on. So this is ex33 defaults. Forgot to add the MNT database 00. Looks fine. LVS just to make sure. Now you can do just mount -a. It's fine. df -h. There you have it. So this is our logical volume with 400 megabytes mounted on EMNT database. So just to make sure, logical database correct, data store it is, 50 extent size it has 8 megabytes, which make it 400 megabytes, which is fine. So looking at all this, it looks to be a-okay to my eyes. So this is all about video. I don't like video, full disclaimer, but I believe that video was removed from the exam objectives at the point of the recording of this video. So I don't think video is part of things, but I will include it here anyways, just in case. Okay. So they want you to create a video volume with 50 gigabytes. That's just that with on the mount point under data. Okay. That's just that. So in order to install, there are many ways to do that, but it should be enough to do dnf install video -y. You should get everything taken care of. Okay. Or else you can do this LVM2 video kmod video -y. In theory, install video works, but if you want to take care of everything to make sure that nothing fails, just install LVM2 video kmod kvideo and you should be good to go. Cool. Now at this point in I'm using Rocky 9.5. They are going to use RHEL 9.5 or 9.4. Video, it's part of the system. It's part of LVM. So in the old ways to configure this, video was about its own service and its own tools. But now it's integrated with LVM, which is, I mean, it's good, I guess, because it's not a service. It's something in the kernel, which is a big step forward. But let's carry on. So I need to check my notes here because I don't do this often, so I need to check my notes. So we need to create a logical volume on a VG. So let's create a VG with enough space. So let's create a partition. Let's check LSBLK. We can use STC. It's just sitting there looking pretty. So I'm not even going to create a partition. I'm going to do PVC, SDC, I'm sorry. At the exam, evaluate all of this. PVS, okay. Now I'm going to create a volume group there. VG create. I don't know, let's call it video. I don't know, volume group. That should be good enough. /dev/SDC. I mean, it should be good enough. I mean, VGS. You have now one called video volume group, which is fine. Now the hard part comes here. It's a big command, but let's do it. LV. I have this in my notes. In the exam, you need to actually make sure to remember this, or go to the main page to get some bearings. Video. Let's call it video logical volume. I call it LV, but I mean, let's give it 50 gigabytes effective, 50 gigabytes virtual. So just 150, so it's fine. So this is going to be made on video volume group. And so let's call it video pool. The insufficient space. Oh yeah, yeah, my partition it's not big enough. Okay, that's fine. Let's how big it was? 33. So let's give it 33. 30. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's quite kind of on the borderline. So my VDC disk is not big enough, but to give it 50, let's give it a little bit less. It's fine. Throughout the exam, you will get the enough space. I just made not a big enough VDC drive, but on the actual exam, you will have access to a big enough disk. It's fine. Cool. And now it's LVM. So LVS, there we go. Video pool, it's there. It's not quite as big as the one they requested on my question. That is 50. It's fine. I just threw the number 50 there. They could be during the real exam. It can be less, because on the last exams that my students done and I have done myself, video was not part of the exam, so I just threw the number 50 there as an example. It's a round number. That's fine. They probably will ask you a smaller number. That's fine. The process is the same, so it's the same thing. I just made up some numbers. It's fine. The important thing is we have the video pool here. It is great. That's what we want. Now you just need to create a partition. Okay, and you should be okay. You should be perfectly okay. So we have here the video pool. It looks fine and dandy. And we have created the pool as they wanted it. So let's go LV scan. And we have here the video pool. Okay, which is again, it's perfectly fine. I mean, now you just need to create a directory and mount it, and you should be perfectly good to go. So I just made a cut here, so you guys don't have to wait. So I just formatted the volume, which is again logical volume name. Just formatted it, and it's fine. I'm using XFS. They will specify that on exam too, but if not, assume XFS. ls blk, and we are good to go. blk id. Since this is formatted, it's right here at the bottom. Now you just need to go get this, for example. Go to your FS tab. So go to, that's video mount. Good job. What is called? It's on the data /data. Oops. /data. XFS. defaults 00 7 quit, and now we test. Cool. Okay, there we have it, 50 gigabyte, and we should be a-okay. So this is video. Video since can be a little bit confusing, so I highly advise you to watch this more than once and check it out, because there have been lots of changes between the first iterations of video on RHEL 9 and now it's different. It kind of made a change from being a service to being a kernel module. All right, that's good to know. Okay, 21. Resize the previous created logical volume database. It was called database, I forget. Plus 100 extents. Okay, it should be simple enough. So let's go to our server B. What was it called? So you want to extend the logical volume to plus 100 extents, and it's called database, right? It was a database. Yeah, I was okay, correct. So LVS database is there, so it should be something like LV extend small l plus 100 resize dev, what was it called? Dev data store. What was called the I forget, VGS display, this scan, I forget, it was VGS LV scan, and yeah, okay, that's it. So let's do LV extend minus L plus 100 resize, and this guy there. Okay, done. So it should, I forget how many extents there was before that. You can just roll back, and the previous extent size was 50, so we should see right now 150. LV scan, not scan display, and this is the root, this is the swap database, and yeah, so it was 50 and now it's 150. So basically the command is this one. People like to resize and resize the extents and then do a resize of the file system. This will just make this on one simple swoop. And there you have, it's now perfectly fine and it's extended. Ooh, so many. Enable the recommended TUND profile on your system. All right, sure, let's go. Cool, so let's do all the steps. DNF install TUND -y. Already installed, no surprises there. It should be, but if it isn't, systemctl -- now enable TUND ADM profile. These are the options. Okay, let's check the recommended. Virtual guest, no surprises. Now we just do the profile. This is going to be running, making rain wet, but whatever. Systemctl restart TUND, and to confirm, active. Yep, the recommended is the active one. Welcome to the 23rd and most likely last practice question for the Ex200. Welcome back. It's all about containers. You're going to set up a simple container and make it run as a service. Come and check it out. So yeah, the first thing we should do is just install stuff. I would suggest just do the following: DNF install. Let's install this one here, and this guy here. We should be good, and we should be good to go. Just let it rip, and just wait. And we have installation complete. If you have packages already installed, cool. If you don't, just install it, and we'll probably most likely have 100% of the tools that we need to carry on. So in the exam situation, after you do the installation, it will depend on the exam questions, but you may need to do a couple of things. I'm not going to do that here because I don't really, in my environment, I don't really need it. But in your case, they probably will ask you to do some sort of login. So just do podman. So you can get access to the required images for the exam. Login. They're going to ask you whatever host name. I'm going to make one up. So like, I don't know, registry.lab.example.com, for example, --tls equals false, verify equals false. I don't do this in my case, but if they'll probably ask you throughout the exam to do that. I will not execute this because I don't have to do it. You just log in. It will ask you for the username and password. You just type the username and password that they provide you, and it should be okay to continue. Next, they will most likely ask you to configure your own connect to the registry, the one they're going to use throughout the exam question. And that will be just a matter of going to, we have two options. You can go to this file here and just edit this line here, so this guy here, and just add the one they provide you and remove the others that don't matter, and you're good to go. Most likely it's going to be something like registry.lab.com, or you can just create your on your home folder a .config file, containers. Okay, and I'm using root right now. And you should, throughout the exam, they're going to ask you to switch to another user. So if you're going to edit the main file on the etc file, you need root, or else just log in with your secondary user, either one that you already have or some user they're going to ask you to create. Then just create your own home folder. On your home folder, student config containers. Okay, and you just create your file there it's called the one that it was beforehand. It's registry.conf, but this is going to apply only to this user. Okay, and then you just need to add something like this, but don't worry too much because they will provide you this information. And you don't need to actually memorize this because they will provide you that. So I'm not going to keep this because I'm not going to use this, but you would just write and quit and then carry on with the remaining actions that most likely will be to log in to that registry so you can access your container images. So now let's search for an image that can offer us HTTPD, okay? And I really want to find one that it's RedHat based, okay? So let's try to get this one, podman pool. Let's try, I don't care about the version. They work similarly. So let's get this one. And let's see if we can pull this image. And here we have it. So we have the UBI version 8. This is coming up nicely. Just to be a little bit more up to date, let's try after this one finishes. Let's try and pull the UBI 9 to see if you are successful. This is a universal base image. This is basically the bare bones image, but this one includes the Apache web server, which is the one you want to use to our testing. Let's try that one. Maybe you can get a little bit more up to date. Let's see if you can get it. So yeah, so I think I'm happy with that. So the registry RedHat.com, it's a registry access.RedHat.com. You can use that. It's free and it requires no login. It's basically open, anonymous. You can pull it. Okay. So we have some images now. So let's do podman images. We have a few. So this one, it's based on Ubuntu, which is fine, but I really want to use something based on RedHat. So next we will start a test image with this one just to poke around and see what we can get. So let's start just a quick container with this image just to poke around the container. So podman run, this will run the container. We will specify the -d. This is the daemon option. This is make sure that the container is running on the background. You can give it a name like test web. Cool. I will not do anything about ports or local folder mapping. I just want to run it and see what gives here. Oh, I already have one. Strange. Podman PS. Oh, I have one spawned. I didn't even remember that. So podman rm, and we can just get rid of it. Okay, podman stop first. That's fine, and then remove it. Podman PS. Cool. Now let's try again with this RedHat based image. So podman PS. It's running. It looks good, and it looks to be running on port 8080, which is fine. Let's just get a shell going. So podman exec -it, did, and bin bash. I think we have bin bash here. Do we have bin bash? We do. Cool. So this is the container itself. So cd etc http d conf hd.conf. Okay, not a directory. Yep, correct. So this is a text file. Let's grab for port. Let's clean the screen. And is this the correct one? Let's vi into that. I don't really remember what is a parameter to confirm it, but you can just poke around of the config file. VM is not installed. Yeah, it's a basic container. So server root. I'm tired. It's listen. Of course, not support. It's listen. I'm just old and tired. I'm tired. Long day. So yeah, port 8080. So we know what port is listening to, even though we already knew that because the podman PS output actually confirmed that. So cool. So let's forward our port 8080 to the test server. Okay. And let's map also a local folder on the next steps. So it's time to run our test container. So now we have podman images. We're going to use this one here, and we're going to map a local folder to remote folder. I have my local folder already set up, so it's here, home student, what I call it, web server, and this is going to have a simple index.html file. So basically, sorry, this is going to be our root folder of our container, var.ww.html. Okay, so let's do podman run, done. Podman run, demonize this guy, --name web server, forward the port 8080 to 8080, the remote server as we just found out. We will map the local folder, so home, student, web server, and web server to the remote var www HTML. Okay. Please fix all the SeLinux thingamajiggies. And the image you're going to use, it's going to be that guy there. So let's just review. Podman run, demonize it. It's going to call bweb server, forward the port 8080, and map the local folder to the remote folder, var.ww.html, which is the default URL. Fix all the SeLinux stuff and use this image there, which is awesome. So let's do podman PS. Looking good. So let's do curl http server a.lab.example.com port 8080. I missed this curl server a .lab.example.com, port 8080. Okay, something is at going south here. Yeah, it's not server A, it's server B. I am a dum-dum. Server B is running the container, not server A. And there you go. So I'll keep this in just so you guys, if you run into some similar issues, you know what's causing this. So I'm on server B, not on server A. As simple as that. And we have now a running container that is running a local folder, has a remote folder. It has all its SeLinux contacts working fine, okay? And it's running HTTP, and it's forwarding port 80 of the local server to port 80 of the container. So we have now a successfully running container. And now that we have a successfully running container, it's time to make it sure that it runs as a service, so it comes up automatically at server reboot. So people, this is one way to get the container up and running at when the server reboots. So let's do the procedure. So basically, you're going to create some structures for systemd to enable this container to be dealt with as a service, so it can stop, start, enable, and all of that good stuff. So I do this very seldom, so I need to check at my notes. But basically, you will create with the container running, you just do mkdir -p and create a folder on home. Whatever the user, I'm using student, use your own. The config folder should already exist. Systemd user. Then I'll navigate there. And we're going to use a procedure that is currently deprecated, but still works. But I will make an updated video about that in the future. But for now, this still works. We'll get a warning. I will get a video update in the future. Like, subscribe, and comment to get notified. So podman generate systemd --new --files. New files name, yeah, web server. Cool. So this shortcut using podman it's deprecated, still works, but in the future I will make an update about the quadlets, what they are and how can I use them. But for now, it will work. This is going to create a new service file that you can dealt with this container as a service. So we can use systemd to start, stop, and enable this container as a service. Okay. And that's exactly what we want. Now we stopped the container. Podman stop web server. Okay, then we just remove the container altogether. Cool. Then we confirm that it's off. It is. We reload the configurations of systemd -user daemon reload. Okay. If you get something like cannot connect to the bus, cannot I don't remember the exact message, but cannot connect to the bus error or something like that, just Control D, close all SSH sessions, reopen a fresh one as the user that has this service, and try the command again. So if you get something like the bus error or connect to bus error in red or something like that, log out of your session and log in back with your user. Close off any SU sessions, any sudo sessions. Fresh start from the beginning with the user without SU or sudo, and this would work. It can happen if you sudo many times, and the system just gets confused. So let's just enable this. So systemctl -user enable -now container web server. Okay, looking good. Now if you do a podman ps, you have it there. Okay, and if this works, it should be perfectly okay. Now you need to enable the linger option, so you don't lose the credentials. So login ctl enable linger. Cool. And let's list that everything's okay. Login ctl and show user student. Perfect. Linger should be yes. I just saw it. It's there. Okay. And now you can just try again. Curl http://server-b.lab.example.com 8080. There we go. So systemctl ctl -- user status. What was it called? I forget. Container something. Okay, container. And it's active and running. It's enabled, which means when we restart the server, this container will be automatically up and running and enabled through systemd. Welcome to the last episode of the Ex200 RHCSA 9 and 10 prep exam. We are done. This is all I have to show you. Lots of things to learn and experiment. 20-something exercises, 20-something tasks that I've shown you. So, but right now, let me just give you some final tips, okay, about it. So those are the tasks that you most likely get tested on and how to resolve it. Good luck on that. Just some final notes. So when you are actually scheduling your exam, most likely you have two options. You have the local option, which means that you're going to have to schedule the exam either through the official RedHat scheduling task online page or through authorized training partner that has RedHat facilities. So can be tested locally with the proctor, which means you have someone like me sitting there. It sets up all the environment, all the machines, all the physical machines, everything you need. You sit down and you do the exam. You will have access to your server A, your server B, okay, server A and server B. And you'll also have a small dashboard where you have some buttons where you can start the VM, stop the VM, reset the VM. So if you do something really, really bad that the VM does not start, you can reset the VM. So you have a series of buttons that each button you press, of course, you will not have full access to the virtualization environment. So those buttons will allow you to start the VM, stop the VM, reset the VM, and restart the VM. So for example, if you want to do the root password thingamajiggy, you click on reload, it will reboot the VM, and you also have a graphical access like you would have in a normal environment. It will not be the normal VM management tools, but a specific tool for the exam, but will be pretty much the same, that will have physical access to the VM. But this requires you to go to the testing center, sit down on a reserved classroom, and you have a proctor like me testing you, not testing you, but giving you access to the exam, okay? So the proctor is not going to grade you. So the proctor is there acting as a proxy between you and the exam. You schedule, you sit down on your seat, and the proctor gives you access to the exam. At the end, the proctor gets all the results together and sends it to someone to grade. So the proctor that you'll see on site is not going to pass you or fail you. It's not there to help you or give you tips. It's just making sure that the environment works. And when you are done with the exam, you will just forward all the results to RedHat that someone can grade you. Or you have the option to go remote, okay? Remote. You schedule that, the time and the day, blah, blah, blah. Then you will build a USB key with a specific Fedora distribution. You'll just burn that image to the pen, and you can boot any machine with that pen, laptop, desktop, whatever the case, and you have your test environment at home, with the comfort of your own home. It's 99% the same as we'll have in a local classroom with a physical proctor, but in this case, you'll have a remote proctor. So you log in, and everything should be okay. Just some notes. You need to be in a very basic room. Okay, I cannot do exams in this room. It has too many computers, too many screens. You need to have one screen only. If you have a laptop with external screen, the laptop screen must be closed. A decent internet access, of course, and you need to have an external camera and a microphone. You are not allowed to use headphones. No headphones. An external camera, the laptop camera, it will not be allowed. You need to have a camera that you can move around. Why? Because the proctor is going to ask you to pan the camera throughout the room so he can see if everything is okay. There is no funny things going. Okay, external camera, internet access. If you are using a laptop with the external screen, the laptop screen must be closed. Only one screen. So need to be in somewhere that's very sorry, not without any external access. Like if you are on your lab, it will not be allowed. Too many screens, too many computers. Go to the kitchen with a laptop or a basic PC with one screen where there are no screens, a place that it's safe and without the proctor will not say, oh, you can get information from there. In my case, once I tried to do it in my living room, I had the TV back in my back, and he asked me to cover my TV with a cloth. Okay, so I had to have the TV screen completely blacked out by a cloth, and I just scanned my room. There were no more screens, no other people. Door was closed, and I could do it. And at the end of the exam, they're going to ask you to rescan the room again with the camera. So you are very heavy controlled, and that's a good thing. You cannot move your mouth because they think that you are talking to someone, which is fine. Okay. So that being said, you can go to the training center with a physical proctor or go do it at home with these restrictions. Like, subscribe, and comment. Ask anything you want to ask in the comments below. And I'm really happy to help you in any way possible. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.